So I once had a female friend who was a jiu-jitsu fighter, and she was an amazing fighter. I forgot what belt she was. But nevertheless though, before I even saw her fight, I used to train as well in jiu-jitsu. I used to do Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu before I broke my jaw. But she was a very cute looking girl, and she didn't look like she could fight. You see her face, she looked like she had a very angelic face. You know, she had that like all-American look face, you know what I'm saying? Like that Amy looking kind of girl. But when she went to the mat and she started sparring, like shit got real. Like she turned into a fucking beast. You know, she turned into Serena Williams, man. It's like crazy. So because of that same reason, that made me become fascinated by her, and I actually started to have a crush on her. Because I saw one side, which was normal, you know, the nice, decent looking girl, you know, all-American girl. But when she got in the ring, everything changed. And so I was like, damn, shit, it's kind of like nice, but evil at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Don't get into an argument with her. So what's really going on here is these are more mixed signals. You see, the angelic look makes guys want to comfort her paternally. Like that's a paternal type of attraction that you have. But the dark side is what creates the polarity. You see, the niceness, the warmth is what draws them in. The dark side is what turns the interest into desire and love. Alright? So these contradictions is what makes guys think of you more than just the person that you are. Alright? So you kind of like become their fantasy because they can't really understand you. Like, it doesn't make sense why you're so nice, but at the same time you have an evil side. So because of that contradiction, you don't know what to think of her, or what to think of the person. As a result, you start to create your own fantasy of the person. It may even not even reflect reality, but your brain is going to start creating things. That's why people say, that's why you may say to yourself, why do guys think I'm so cool? Why do you guys want to talk to me? Like sometimes sometimes I can't find well, I don't know why they think I'm interested when in reality I'm not interested. It's because their brain is seeing something that's not there. You see? So that infatuation only occurs when you give them that space to think of you, that space to actually be fascinated about you, but that only happens when you have that contradiction. You see, that fascination only happens when you have that contradiction to your personality. Alright? So, they'll see, okay, alright, so anyway, so you have that, right? So, the innocence of the vulnerability, like I said earlier, is what attracts them. Like, the niceness, the warmth to you, you know? But your dark side is what turns into an obsession. Guys will move on and stop being interested if you're just the nice girl. Like, just the nice girl. Like, I will always be there for you and I will never leave you. That side, guys are gonna leave or cheat on. I'm telling you. Why? Because they need another side that's dark. That's why they'll go for girls that are uglier per se. That's why girls always complain about, like, he cheated on me with a girl who's uglier. But they do that because they want a girl who goes for stuff, who's willing to take risk. They want a dark side. You see? So when they find that in a woman, it's like finding a LeBron James who could do everything. You know? So when you do that, guys will become more interested a lot longer. Enough for them to fall in love with you. Alright? So that's why being overly masculine as a woman, like when you're just too much of a tomboy, you know, isn't good. It's because you want to balance it out. You know, you need to have a feminine side to balance it out. So guys like that because it kind of, like having a masculine side to you, let's say if you're a feminine side, have a masculine side to you. Because when you have a masculine side to you, which is the best kind of person, because when you have those two sides, it means you have the best parts of being a man and the best parts of being a woman. When you have that masculine side, in a way, it brings out a repressed homosexual desire that guys have. Don't you notice why guys like girls who do manly stuff? Why guys like girls who wear their jeans, or guys like girls who play sports, or guys like girls who are competitive? Like, very masculine traits. So it's kind of like an indirect way to fulfill a fantasy. Now, like, I don't have those, you know. Don't start spreading that. I don't have it. I bet I do, man. I swear to God, I bet I do. In a way, let me show you something. In a way for that to come out, it's kind of like when you start seeing the female version of you. When you start, like, people like the opposite sex version of them. So when you see someone that reminds you of you and they're the opposite sex, you kind of fall in love with them. You see that, because that's also a homosexual desire that everyone has. All right, so. But in order for this to work, it has to hint that you have another side to you. You can't be so obvious. You know what I'm saying? The reason why I found out that this girl my friend was a jiu-jitsu fighter is because I saw an Instagram photo of her like having a jiu-jitsu mat. but she never really advertised it. She just had one picture of her jiu-jitsu. So I asked her and she took me. So it was something that was more subtle. I didn't ask for it. I mean, she didn't say it. I noticed and then I brought it up. So it didn't feel like she was trying to impress me, you see? So what is to say that she didn't do that on purpose? You see what I'm saying? Like, what is this? She didn't do that on purpose. She did the right thing because I found out indirectly, right? So, but the thing is that having this, one second, I'm reading the most. To fix it, you must hint that you are complex. All right, so by having like the little counterbalance of your personality, it hints that you have depth to your personality. All right. So right now we're going to learn how to use it and how to apply it. All right. So in order to apply, you have to realize you won't have to become a walking paradox. You see, a walking paradox. Like, look one way and be the other. So look like a nice girl. If you're a badass girl, you know what I'm saying, like the girl who loves to party, have a nice girl facade, like a masquerade being a nice girl. You see, people like it because humans want things that make sense. You see, they become curious when there's this continuity, a lack of continuity that they have to put together. You know, if it's too obvious, people will lose interest. What I mean by that is, people want something that doesn't make sense. So if you look like a nice girl, but then you have a dark side to you, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's not normal. So they become intrigued, and they'll want to figure it out. Like, how does all of this fit together? You see, they see a gap, and that gap, they fill it up with their imagination, and that imagination is what stirs up the desire. You see, but in order for that to do that, you got to do it in a very strategic way, because I'm going to show you how to do it, all right? So I'm just putting down some basic fundamentals for you guys to understand, all right? And so, but remember when I told you, if it's too obvious, they'll lose interest. So like that girl, she did it in a very subtle way. I was the one who approached her for that, not her. So it was subtle, even though it was intentional, you know? So if you showed, the thing is that if you show too much of yourself, like the good parts of you, the parts that people obviously like, they'll become interested, but they'll lose interest afterwards. You see what I'm saying? You don't want that. You want them to find out slowly. You want them to find out and then like see a little bit of the gold, like see a little bit of the gold in the sand, make them curious enough to go there and start digging. You see? So remember, no one is mysterious by nature. Like, people are not mysterious by nature. We all want validation. I gotta put some honey on my coffee. You know, no one is mysterious by nature because we all want validation, you know. So in order for you to actually be mysterious and maybe that guy actually wants to get to know you, you have to actually put some effort. And that's why people lose interest, because a person doesn't put effort. And that's a good thing. Is that if that's the case, that means anyone could do it if they put a little bit of effort. You know, anyone could give a good gift if they actually put some effort. It's for every single person. You could tell good effort from bad effort. You know, so show one part of the character that's obvious, you know, and then the other. You know, so have a facade. Find out what your facade is. Find out who you really, really are, and suppress it. You know, for example, for me, I'm gonna ask you guys I wanted to see your perspective. Like, what's my facade? You know, but what I think my facade is. And very nice person, you know, nice, you know, decent, you know, but that doesn't look like they'll know this kind of stuff. But when I speak about it, you guys can see that I know what I'm talking about. So I don't know what the fuck that facade is, but all I know that in real life, like when I'm not on camera, the facade I have is a very nice person, like very, very understanding, very, you know, wants the best, empathetic, you know, spirituality a little bit here and there, friendly, non-threatening, right? But then there's another side that's willing to make the move. You know, another side is fearless, you know? And so people sense that. They'll sense it because of my laid back kind of attitude, but then they'll notice that I'm a little bit more assertive than most people. That I'm a little bit more, how can I say it? I speak louder, I speak with more belief, you know, I speak with more emotions. All right, and so that speaks about the person's who they really are, like how they speak, the way they speak, how they look at you. Do they look at you with passion? You see, and so because of that, it'll be a contradiction, because normally the nice guys, the very nice guys, are not like that. They're very like, you know, yeah, I need to get to know you. No, fuck that shit. Let's talk about me. You know, so you do that when you actually learn to embrace the other sides of your personality. But let's keep talking, okay? Because I gotta show you guys the way how to do it. I'm talking too much. All right, so remember, no one's mysterious for me. So all right. So having that contradiction is what makes it seductive in nature. Right, so let's start doing it. Let's start talking tactics right now, okay? So you must, in order to make it work, you must make them imagine about you and think about you. That's the only way for them to make it work. This has to be done in a way through like dressing sexy, or having it like dressing nice, like dressing in a provocative way, or giving them like a quick glance that indicates interest and then looking away, you know, or something that is contradicting about you. It has to be done in the beginning and when they hardly know you, so that they can fill in the blanks. And when they begin, so that they can begin imagining you. So in a way, you don't want to start doing this like later in the relationship, because they already have a good picture of you. You want to do it in the beginning. That's why you don't want them to get to know you fast. Like, you don't want them to know the good things about you in the first 1 or 2 weeks. You want to hint at it so that they can figure it out themselves. Let them figure you out. Don't make yourself so obvious. So that's why you gotta put some effort, because sometimes it slips away. You know, and plus you gotta remember, you're giving them an experience. You see? So this is how you guys do it, and this is how I do it. And mind you, this is not something that I do consciously, because it just became ingrained in my personality. So, for example, like, people talk to me and don't think I'm using a tactic, but I'm like, yo, it's just me being me. Like, I can't help it. Then if I say that, I bet you're like, oh, I'm sorry. But then again, what am I doing with vulnerability? I can't help myself. I'm sorry. Vulnerability. I'm a slave to my emotions. You see, that's how you're able to deflect it when people think you're being manipulated. But let's do this. So you make yourself a surprise by being contradicting. So when you first display your contradicting personality trait, like if you're a very nice girl but you love sex, so you display. You remember that movie, Wedding Crashers? The redhead, like, she looks like a nice girl but she's very sexual. You become a surprise because the person is like, holy shit, wait a minute, I did not expect that. Like, you know, it's kind of like, oh wow, damn, that's crazy. Like, it's interesting. It's like, it's unique. Like, it's like drinking soda and expecting soda and then drinking orange juice. You would like, it's just like, it shocks your system. So that's how you stand out. See what I'm saying? So if you want to stand out, you gotta have that contradicting personality in your sub-communication. Look like a very nice girl, you know, but then be assertive in nature. So that it's kind of like, oh damn, the appearance doesn't reflect the person. All right. If you're a little slut, put a masquerade of a nice girl. So that's how you're able to be a slutty girl, through getting away with it by being the nice girl, by showing the facade of the nice girl. All right. You can create this mystery through being mysterious and vague. You know, be open with your friends. For example, being a way to saying another mixed signal is like telling the guy that your nickname is Felicia. I don't know. They call me Felicia. And the guy says like, oh, can I call you Felicia? Oh no, only my friends can call me Felicia. Like, that makes the guy be like, oh damn, shit. Like, you like me, you're showing interest, but then only your close friends could call you Felicia. So that kind of like, I swear to God, every time somebody says that, it kind of like, oh damn, what? I'm not Felicia. So one day when you say, yo, call me Felicia, they feel validated, like, oh, I'm part of the club. See, that's a way to show contradicting signs, you know. You're like, oh no, I still like you, dude. It's just some people, I don't let them do that. You're having restrictions. You're showing some barrier. You make them want it. And now when they get it, they'll feel more like, ooh, you know, like, I've been upgraded, you know. The relationship plan was upgraded. All right. It also creates distance. Remember, you got to create distance. So that distance makes them think, why can I not call you Felicia? Why am I not am I not special? You see? All right. Another way is, if you're a very studious person, like intelligent, you know, professor, have a dirty mouth, you know, like curse, like if you look like someone who's very studious, have a very dirty mouth. If you look like someone who's very you know, and like from the streets, have a very intellectual way of talking. My best professor, I had a professor, his name was Mr. Smith, some shit like that. He was black. He looked like I swear to God, he looked like he just came out of straight out of the movie The Barbershop. He was wearing the Dickie hat, Dickie shirt, Dickie pants. You know Dickies. People who know Dickies know that with Timberlands. He was like a PhD professor on African American experience. But he was the best teacher I've ever had in my life. The smartest teacher I have ever had in my life was the one that didn't look like a teacher. And because of that simple fact, he stood out in my mind. And I will never forget him because he was so fucking intellectual. I have never listened to someone speak so eloquently like him. But the thing is, he looked like he's the type of guy that could give me a shape up after the class. You know what I'm saying? I do need a shape up. Another way to send mixed signals is playing with the gender roles, being masculine, but at the same time feminine. Like I said, it arises the secret homosexual desires that guys have. All right. Contradict your appearance with your character, but again, it has to be a hint. You see what I'm saying? For example, being a sexy ass feminine looking girl but skateboarding. You see, being a sexy feminine girl but playing basketball. You see what I'm saying? Being able to be the woman in the house, but being able to fix the car. You know, I need a girl who fixes my car, man. I can't fix my own car. You see, another way that you could do this is by sending mixed signals is switching parental roles, being the provider or being the one who's provided. You see? So, for example, one day being stubborn, the stubborn child, all right, by causing an argument, and the next day being agreeable, the person who agrees with everything he says. One day needing help, like being all like, I need help, like, you know, being sick or being depressed or sad, or having the guy save you, and the next day being assertive, all right. And so when you have that, you keep a guy at bay, all right. But this only works if it's hinted. If it's too obvious, it'll threaten him because he'll see that you're trying to manipulate him. All right. Another way is that, for example, another way to switch gender roles is being masculine when getting his attention, you know, and then being feminine when you want him to, how can I say this? Being feminine when you want him to chase. For example, girl ask me, how do I get the guy to kiss me? How do I get the guys to go for the move while being feminine and being the one who's being chased? It's simple. Like I said, being masculine and then at the end being feminine. For example, you invite him over, dress provocatively, sit on the couch, you know, say, yes, touch him, right? But then add a hint of femininity, which is this: I don't think we should do something today. Oh my God, this is getting late. Oh, this is so wrong. If somebody sees me with you, I would definitely be in trouble. We should not be doing this. So as you can see, is that you're being aggressive, masculine, putting yourself out there, but you're being feminine by saying we should not be doing this. His job is to break through that resistance. The problem is that, like I said, the most important part in seduction is picking the right victim. So some guys are not confident enough, and so they'll interpret it according to the way they see the world, according to their belief system. So if they have low confidence, they'll take your resistance for what? Lack of disinterest. So they'll lose interest. You see what I'm saying? But that's a way to get a guy to chase by saying no, we can't do this, right? Which is the feminine, but also being the one who provokes him. Like saying, no, we can't do this, but at the same time saying, go ahead, try. I know you want to. I know you want to. You see, so that's how you're able to make him, make him be attracted to you, you see? By showing interest and then backing away. Showing interest and then backing away. And that's how you're able to be aggressive, but at the same time being passive-aggressive in a good way. All right. Another way you could do this is like inviting him over, being sexual, right? And being sexual, but not let him have sex with you. You see? So you see the feminine side there? The masculine, aggressive, provoking him. The feminine, no, I don't think we should do this. You see? So they were kind of like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing, girl? But then you show the feminine, nah, I'm just messing with you. I'm just flirting with you. You know, I really like you. You reassure him, oh, she really likes me. But she doesn't want to have sex with me. You see, like, oh, what the fuck is going on? See, I'm going nuts right now. Right? Another way you could have him is for example, is telling them, let me see how many minutes I have left. Okay, 18. Telling them that you want them, but pushing them away. Like setting an obstacle. Like, I want you, but I don't think I should do this. Like, I gotta wake up early tomorrow. Like, I want you, but my friends are here, blah, 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 blah. Like, simply like, being feminine, I want you, but then, I'm afraid. Like, make some chase. Like, oh, you want me? Yeah, but what? There's an obstacle. Forget about the obstacle. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, that show desires, but then backs away. That's what I want you to do, all right? Another way to send mixed signals is this. A lot of women tell me that when they talk to me, back then, but not now, I still do, but when they talk to me, they love when I start talking about, like relationship, like attraction, pickup, because I get passionate, because I love talking about it. But when I'm not, I talk normal. So that's what I want you to do is, remember when I said hints, little tidbits of contradiction? So normal, blah, 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 oh, talking about relationships, suddenly I talk with more passion because this is something that I love. You know what I'm saying? But then I change the topic and then I calm down. You see, so then you get to see like, oh damn, like There's a side of him that when that side comes out, it's interesting. So the same thing with women. You gotta have something that you actually love, a passion, something that you actually get excited about. So this comes in more about making a life, but generally speaking, you want to have something that excites you naturally. And so that's the only way for you to do this, to actually be passionate. You see? So in order for that to happen, you got to take away extrinsic motivations, which is money and stability, and go for what you want to do. I mean, you know, and that's a whole nother different subject. And if you want to do that, go check out the book, The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, and read the chapter. It's called Fear Setting, or something about fear setting. It's one of the first 4 chapters. It's a good book to read if you want to get to know about what you want to do in life. All right. Another way is, let me give you guys some examples of people who have that contradicting personality. Like Milo Yiannopoulos. You see, that's not even a good example. Like The Rock. You see The Rock, like The Rock has a tough guy look to him, you know, but then he plays like comedy roles, all right? Another one is like Steph Curry. Steph Curry looks like someone who can't play basketball, but he's a fucking amazing player. You see that contradiction. Marilyn Monroe, she had a very feminine look, like a childlike look. She had a very childlike voice, but she had a very hint of sexuality, that contradiction. Let me see, who else was a contradiction? You know, just celebrities who show one thing but are the other. You know what I'm saying? But remember, in all of this, the key is distance and space. You see, you gotta learn to create distance, like have a temporary leave of absence from his life, like 1 or 2 days, and make him miss you, because that's when things start simmering. That's the code that he needs. You know, that's what creates a mixed signal. You see what I'm saying? So this is pretty much it. This is how you're able to segment mixed signal. I hope that made sense. Because I know that was a very long introduction. But anyways, again, I'm doing one-on-one coaching for those who are interested. Just let me know, comment below if you guys need one-on-one coaching, and we could get something started. But I hope you guys enjoy this video, and goodbye.